Something is changing at Heartland. The air feels heavier, the face is more cautious, and the silence is longer than ever. Trust, once unshakable, now trembles under the weight of doubt. As the sun sets behind the ranch, every shadow seems to carry a secret. In episode 5 of Heartland season 19, titled Suspicious Minds, the bonds that hold the Fleming family together will be tested in ways no one sees coming. The morning begins quietly at the Heartland ranch. The wind moves gently across the open fields, carrying the scent of wet earth after an early rain. Horses graze peacefully, unaware of the tension building among the humans who care for them. Amy steps out of the barn, her boots pressing softly into the damp soil. She takes a deep breath, trying to find peace in the stillness, but her mind refuses to settle. There's something different about today, something she can't quite name. As she brushes Spartan, her loyal horse, a sense of unease grows stronger. His restlessness mirrors her own, his eyes darting toward the horizon as if sensing something she cannot see. Amy has always trusted her instincts and her horse's reactions, and both are whispering the same message now. Something isn't right inside the house. Lou is already deep in thought, papers spread across the table, a half-drunk cup of coffee forgotten beside her. She's been working on a new project for the town, but lately, every decision feels heavier, every choice tangled with second-guessing. She can't shake the feeling that someone isn't being completely honest with her. Whether it's about business or family, she isn't sure, but she can feel it. Tim walks into the kitchen, his face marked with the lines of worry that come from a lifetime of mistakes and lessons learned too late. He tries to lighten the mood with a joke, but even his words feel forced. Everyone seems distracted, caught in their own thoughts, hiding behind small smiles that don't reach their eyes. The ranch, usually full of laughter and conversation, now feels like a place where every sound carries a question. The clatter of hooves in the distance, the closing of a barn door, even the soft neigh of a horse all seem to echo with tension. Heartland has seen storms before, both in weather and emotion, but this one feels different. It's quieter, slower, and more dangerous because it hides beneath the surface. As Amy finishes her chores, she looks up to see a figure approaching from the road. At first, she can't make out who it is, but something about their stance makes her pause. Her heartbeat quickens, though she doesn't know why. When the figure finally steps closer, she realizes it's someone she hasn't seen in a long time, someone whose return might not bring the peace she once hoped for. The day that began with calm now carries an undercurrent of suspicion. Every glance feels loaded with questions that no one dares to ask. In Heartland, trust has always been their foundation. But what happens when that foundation begins to crack? The sound of hooves echoes through the valley, steady and sharp against the still morning air. Amy stands frozen for a moment as the rider draws near. It's not just any visitor, it's someone tied to the past, someone whose presence carries more weight than words. Her chest tightens with a mix of curiosity and unease. There's a calm smile on the rider's face, but beneath it hides something she can't read. The ranch has seen many guests, but this one feels different, like a story that was never finished. When the stranger dismounts, silence fills the space between them. Amy greets them politely, though her tone carries caution. The horses nearby stir restlessly, picking up the tension. Neither of them speaks aloud. She's learned to listen to those quiet instincts, the ones that whisper warnings before the truth has a chance to show itself. The visitor talks about old times and shared memories, but every word feels carefully chosen. Every sentence meant to steer her away from asking what really brought them here. Inside the house, Lou glances out the window and spots them talking. She can't hear what's being said, but the sight alone sparks unease. Her sister's body language tells her enough. Amy isn't comfortable. Lou tries to shake it off and return to her papers, yet her focus drifts. Suspicion creeps in like a slow-moving storm. She tells herself she's imagining things, but the feeling refuses to fade. Even Jack, usually the calm heart of the ranch, seems unsettled. He's seen too many seasons, too many faces, to ignore what his gut tells him. As the day stretches on, small things begin to feel off. A barn door that Amy swore she locked stands open again. Tools she left neatly arranged are slightly shifted. Nothing is missing, yet everything feels disturbed. These are the kinds of details most would overlook, But not Amy. She's lived her life reading signs that others don't see. It's what makes her good with horses and what now makes her uneasy around people. Later that evening, as the sun sinks behind the hills, the ranch glows with fading light. Shadows stretch long across the ground, turning familiar shapes into something unfamiliar. Amy watches the visitor from a distance as they walk toward the stables, her thoughts restless and tangled. There's no clear reason to distrust them, yet her instincts won't stay quiet. Heartland has always been a place of healing and honesty, but even here, secrets find a way to breathe. Lou steps outside, arms crossed, watching Amy's expression. "Something's wrong, isn't it?" she asks softly. Amy hesitates before answering. The truth isn't clear yet. Only a feeling, a whisper of doubt that won't leave her alone. "I don't know," Amy says finally, eyes still locked on the stranger. "But I think we're about to find out." Night falls softly over Heartland, but peace doesn't come with it. The ranch glows under the pale light of the moon, every window flickering like a watchful eye. The air feels thick, as if the land itself knows something is out of balance. Amy stands alone by the fence, her gaze lost in the distance where the stranger's truck disappeared hours ago. She wants to believe their visit was harmless, just a ghost from the past passing through. But deep down, she knows better. Nothing about today felt accidental. Inside, the house hums with quiet movements. Lou closes her laptop after hours of trying to focus, though her mind has been elsewhere. Each thought circles back to the same uneasy feeling that the peace they've built is slipping away. She looks at the family photos lined up along the wall, smiles, laughter, memories frozen in time. But in this moment, even those happy faces seem to hide something beneath them. Lou sighs, pouring herself a glass of water, trying to calm the storm in her chest. She can't tell if her fear is real or just a product of too many restless nights out in the barn. Tim moves through the shadows with a flashlight, the beam cutting across hay bales and empty stalls. He's checking the locks, the gates, the small details that keep the place safe. Yet with each creak of wood and each rustle of straw, he feels eyes on him. Maybe it's the wind, or maybe it's the truth catching up, the kind of truth that doesn't stay buried forever. He's learned through hard years that past mistakes don't vanish. They just wait for the right moment to resurface. And now, it feels like that moment has arrived. Amy joins him, her voice quiet but steady. "You ever feel like the land's trying to tell us something?" she asks. Tim doesn't answer right away. He shines the light toward the far stall, the one that's been empty since a few strange events last week. "Sometimes," he says finally, "but the question is, are we ready to listen?" The words hang between them, heavy and real. Amy feels the truth in them, like the echo of a thought she didn't want to admit. As the two leave the barn, a faint sound stops them in their tracks, a low, nervous whinny from one of the horses. They exchange a glance and turn back, stepping carefully. The flashlight flickers, then steadies on a set of muddy footprints near the stable door. They're fresh, too fresh. Amy kneels, tracing one with her gloved hand. It's not hers, not Lou's, not Tim's. Someone else has been here recently. Back in the house, Lou looks out through the window and spots their faint silhouettes in the barnyard. She can't hear their voices, but she sees the way they're moving, cautious, alert. A chill runs down her spine. She doesn't know what's happening, but she knows it's not over. The feeling she's been fighting all day tightens around her like a thread pulling taut. The night grows colder, the wind louder. Somewhere beyond the ranch, a door slams, carried by the wind, or maybe by something else. And just like that, Heartland, once a symbol of safety, family, and healing, feels like a place full of questions. The kind of questions that don't just test trust, but redefine it. Amy turns to Tim, her voice barely above a whisper. "Whatever this is," she says, "it's only just starting." And in the stillness that follows, even the stars seem to hold their breath. Dawn breaks over Heartland with a pale, uncertain light. The mist hangs low across the fields, wrapping everything in a quiet haze that feels almost sacred yet uneasy. The world looks calm, but it's the kind of calm that comes before something changes forever. Amy stands by the barn, her hands resting on the fence, eyes fixed on the horizon. She hasn't slept. The questions from the night before still echo in her mind. Who was here? And what are they hiding? The footprints, the tension, the uneasy stares, all of it feels connected, like pieces of a puzzle that refuses to show its picture. Inside the house, Lou sets down a pot of coffee and watches her sister through the window. She knows Amy well enough to see the signs, shoulders stiff, eyes lost in thought, a quiet storm brewing behind her calm face. Lou has always been the practical one, the fixer, the one who plans and manages. But now, even she feels helpless. There's something here logic can't solve. Something that lives between words and looks, between what's said and what's left unsaid. Tim joins Amy outside, his steps slow and thoughtful. The morning air bites at his skin, but he doesn't care. He's been through enough to recognize when the past starts bleeding into the present. You think we've been too trusting? Amy asks softly, still not looking at him. He takes a moment before answering. Trust is what keeps this place alive, he says. But it's also what can break it if we give it to the wrong person. His words linger, heavy with truth. Amy nods, her jaw tightening. She's starting to understand that trust isn't about blindness, it's about courage. The courage to see what's really in front of you, even when it hurts. Dada, as the morning unfolds, Heartland begins to wake. Horses move restlessly, their breath visible in the cold air. The sounds of life return, but something has shifted. Every creak of the barn, every rustle of hay carries new meaning now. Lou steps outside and joins the others. We can't ignore this anymore, she says, her voice firm. Whoever's been coming around, whatever they want, it's time we find out. The three of them walk toward the stable where the footprints were found. The ground is still marked, though the rain from last night has softened the edges. Amy kneels again, running her hand through the dirt. Her eyes catch something glinting in the mud, a small metal emblem, half buried. It's old, worn, but unmistakable. Recognition flashes across her face, and for a moment, she can't breathe. Lou crouches beside her. Amy, what is it? She asks. Amy swallows hard. It's from Dad's old rodeo days, she says quietly. But he lost this years ago. Tim's face pales. He steps closer, his voice low and uncertain. Then that means... He doesn't finish the sentence, but they all know what it means. Whoever was here last night wasn't a stranger. They were someone who knows this land, this family, and their history. Someone who's been here before and still carries a piece of it with them. The air grows still again, heavy with realization. Heartland, once a place of safety and warmth, now feels like a crossroads between past and present. The mystery that began with whispers and glances has become something undeniable. Yet beneath the fear, there's something else, a spark of determination. Amy straightens up, clutching the emblem tightly. No more guessing, she says. We're going to find the truth. As the camera pulls back, the ranch stands in the soft light of morning. The fields stretch endlessly, the sky painted in shades of gold and gray. Heartland looks peaceful, but beneath that beauty lies a secret waiting to be uncovered. The story isn't over, it's only just beginning. The day rises slow and heavy, as if the sky itself carries the weight of the night before. The ranch is quiet to quiet. The usual sounds of Heartland, the soft nickers of horses and the rustle of the wind through the aspens, feel distant now, muffled under a silence that doesn't belong. Amy walks toward the stables, the small emblem still clutched in her hand. It feels colder now, sharper, like a truth that's waited too long to be heard. Every step she takes feels heavier than the last, each breath caught between fear and resolve. She knows this place better than anyone, but this morning, even Heartland feels like it's holding its breath. Inside, Lou and Tim are already waiting. The tension between them is thick, but beneath it lies something unspoken, a shared need to face whatever comes next. Lou holds a folder of old papers, the kind she keeps for everything that matters, and spreads them out on the table. Tim's name is on some of them, old rodeo contracts, faded photos, newspaper clippings. Amy sets the emblem beside them. The metal catches the morning light, throwing a faint shimmer across the page. This was never lost, she says quietly. Someone kept it. Tim studies it for a long moment, his face unreadable. Memories flicker behind his eyes, dusty arenas, long drives, choices he thought he'd left behind. There was someone back then, he murmurs. A rider I used to train with. We didn't end on good terms. His words trail off into the still air. Lou frowns. You think he's the one who came here? Tim doesn't answer, but his silence says enough. The past has come knocking, and it's no longer content to stay forgotten. Amy's gaze hardens. If this person's been coming around, they're not just looking for something, they're sending a message. Her voice doesn't tremble. It carries the calm strength she's always had, the same one that's kept Heartland standing through grief and change. Lou looks at her sister, realizing that this is no longer just about suspicion, it's about protection. Not just of the ranch, but of the people who call it home. Outside, the clouds begin to part, sunlight spilling over the land like a promise of clarity. Amy steps out of the barn and looks across the open fields. Everything seems the same, the fences, the trees, the endless stretch of prairie, but she knows better now. Heartland has always been more than a place. It's a living memory, one that carries every joy and every scar. And right now, it's whispering a truth that can't be ignored. You can't outrun what's buried in the soil. Lou joins her, crossing her arms as she looks out over the horizon. So, what do we do now? She asks. Amy turns to her, a small, determined smile touching her lips. We wait, but not quietly. We stay ready. Whoever's behind this will come back. And when they do, they'll find out Heartland doesn't break easily. Tim steps out beside them, the lines of regret on his face now replaced by resolve. The three of them stand together, framed by the morning light, a family bound by truth, by pain, and by the will to protect what they love. The wind shifts, carrying with it the faint sound of horses from the distance. It feels like the ranch itself is breathing again, alive with purpose. The camera pans upward, showing the wide expanse of Heartland beneath the glowing sky. The danger isn't gone, the mystery isn't solved, but something has changed. The fear that once lingered in every corner has turned into strength. The past may have returned, but this time, it's met by a family unafraid to face it. The story closes not on answers, but on a promise, the kind that keeps hearts steady even when the world around them trembles. Heartland stands still for a moment longer, proud and quiet. Before the screen fades to black, evening drapes itself across Heartland like a slow exhale. The sky painted in bruised shades of purple and gold. The sun dips behind the hills, and with it goes the long, uneasy day. Yet something about the air feels lighter now, as if the land itself recognizes that a truth, no matter how painful, has finally begun to surface. The ranch, once restless with suspicion, now hums with a quiet resilience. The danger hasn't vanished, but its shadow has changed shape. What once felt like fear now feels like resolve. Amy stands by the paddock, her hair moving with the wind, her eyes steady on the horizon. The horses graze calmly again, their nervous energy replaced by a quiet trust. They always seem to know before anyone else when things are shifting. She strokes Spartan's mane and whispers something only he can hear, something that sounds like a promise. In that moment, the past and present blur together, every loss, every lesson, every silent prayer that's ever kept Heartland standing. Inside the house, Lou closes her laptop and finally lets herself breathe. The papers, the meetings, the sleepless nights, all of it fades into the background. She looks around the living room, its walls lined with memories, framed photographs, worn books, and the scent of old wood. This isn't just a home. It's a record of everything they've survived. She smiles softly, realizing that even when they stumble, even when secrets threaten to pull them apart, something stronger always pulls them back together. Tim steps out onto the porch, leaning against the railing. His gaze lingers on the open road leading away from the ranch, the same road that's taken him away and brought him back more times than he can count. For the first time in a long while, he feels the quiet peace of being where he's meant to be. Maybe the ghosts of the past never leave entirely, he thinks, but maybe that's okay. Maybe they're just reminders of who you were, so you can see more clearly who you've become. Amy joins him, standing beside him in the soft light. Do you think it's over? She asks, her voice gentle but wary. Tim watches the horizon before answering. Not over, he says, just beginning again, in a different way. His words hang in the air, neither heavy nor hopeful, just real. And that honesty feels like the truest comfort they've had in days. As night falls, the lights in the house glow warm against the growing darkness. Lou brings out mugs of coffee. Amy laughs softly at something Tim says, and for a moment, everything feels whole again. The tension that once filled every corner has turned into quiet understanding. Suspicion may have shaken them, but it didn't destroy them. It made them look deeper at each other, at themselves, at what Heartland really means. Morning returns to Heartland, soft and golden, the kind of morning that feels like forgiveness. The land glistens under the dew, and for the first time in days, the air carries a sense of calm rather than tension. The storm of suspicion has passed, leaving behind a silence that isn't empty but full of reflection, of strength, of quiet understanding. The people who live here have faced their fears, unmasked old ghosts, and discovered truths that hurt but healed too. Heartland stands as it always has, grounded, patient, unbroken. Amy walks out to the pasture, her boots brushing through the damp grass. Spartan trots toward her, his mane catching the light like strands of gold. She rests her forehead against his, eyes closed, breathing in the scent of hay and earth. For her, this place is more than land. It's a living memory of everyone she's loved and lost. She whispers softly, "We're still standing." Her voice trembles with relief, not sadness. This morning isn't about what they've lost, it's about what they've held onto. Inside, Lou prepares breakfast, her movements slower, more peaceful than before. The coffee pot steams gently, the radio hums faintly in the background, and sunlight pours through the window like a quiet blessing. She glances at the photo of their mother on the wall and smiles. Every challenge has brought them here, to this moment, to a family that doesn't just survive but endures. She knows there will always be storms, always shadows. But now she also knows that Heartland has weathered enough to find light again. Tim steps out onto the porch, his old hat tilted forward, watching the horizon. His past hasn't disappeared, but it no longer controls him. The mistakes, the regrets, the things left unsaid, they're still part of his story. But now they've found their place. The emblem Amy discovered rests on the porch rail, gleaming faintly in the sun. It's a reminder of how close the past came to shaking them, and how firmly they stood their ground. He picks it up and sets it inside the barn, where it belongs, not as a warning, but as a memory. As the day unfolds, the ranch slowly fills with life again. The sound of hooves echoes in rhythm with laughter, birds circle above the fields, and the scent of fresh hay drifts through the air. Heartland feels alive, wounded but whole, changed but stronger. Amy, Lou, and Tim meet near the fence line, their gazes tracing the vast horizon. No words are needed. Everything important has already been said through silence and action. Their eyes meet, and they share a look of quiet triumph. The camera pulls back, wide and slow, capturing the full beauty of the land, the rolling hills, the golden fields, the distant mountains standing eternal. A gentle piano melody rises, soft but steady, carrying the weight of everything they've faced and everything they've become. A closing narration begins, calm and certain. Suspicion fades, but truth remains. Family bends, but it doesn't break. And no matter how far the past reaches, the heart always finds its way home. Because some places aren't just where you live, they're who you are. The image lingers on the ranch, bathed in sunlight. The horses running free across the open field, and the house glowing warmly in the morning light. Then, slowly, the screen fades to black. White text appears. Heartland Season 19, Episode 5. Suspicious Minds, only on CBC. And as the final note fades, so does the screen, leaving nothing but the sound of the wind, steady, peaceful, unbroken.